Hey, you guys, welcome to Just Us Jenkins. If you are seeing me for the first time, I'm Jamillah, stay-at-home homeschool mama of three beautiful babies. I'm also a certified Reiki practitioner and Reiki master and owner of HealingMama.com. Today, we're coming to you with episode number 3 of the Just Us Jenkins Mommy Realness podcast. And today, I have my spirit sister joining me, Shantae. She's an awesome educator, and we've been interacting with each other for the last few years. And she definitely has given me some spiritual loving so I can continue on this homeschooling journey. So I want to say thank you for joining me today. And thank you for always encouraging me, even though you probably don't even know you're encouraging me to keep doing what I'm doing.
You're welcome.
So would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I am Shantae, also known as Mrs. Files to my students. I am an educator. This is my first time teaching for high school English. However, I have been an educator since 2007 with paraprofessional mentoring, after school programming, ASL tutoring, etc. And I also do events, so weddings, baby showers. I do decorating, sitter pieces, and stuff like that. And I love
Ooh.
crocheting, so
You made the most beautiful gift for my mom. I'm gonna have to
thank you.
like get on and show. I never asked her for permission, but I'm gonna just show it anyway. But it was absolutely beautiful. So, um, where can they find you to email you for stuff like that?
They can find me on Telegram or Instagram at Legacy Files. So,
Yes, okay. All
oh,
right, let's get into these juicy little teacher questions, okay? Sorry, I'm hearing like it's like a little delayed, so if I'm speaking over you, I apologize in advance.
oh, you're good.
What's up? Hold on 1 second, everybody.
Hope everybody is having a great day today. It's a beautiful day where I'm at. And there she is. Okay.
Sorry, you guys. I thought I had them together, but you know how it is. They're like mom's doing something, so we gotta show up and show out. Okay, sorry about that. All right, first question. How long have you been an educator?
Since 2007. Since 2007.
And will you please tell us
Teaching.
again what type
I'm
of
sorry.
educator you are?
High school English teacher. I've been a high school English teacher for 1 whole year. This is my first year as a high school English teacher, but I have been educating since 2007.
How has the first year been so far?
So it has its ups and downs. Um, I'm going to be honest with you. I actually quit before the first semester ended during Thanksgiving break. However, I came back with a different mind. Some things had to change in order for that to happen. And a lot of people don't understand what teachers actually go through full time every single day. There's no really a clock in, clock out kind of a moment for teachers. When you get home, you're still expected to have work done that you are supposed to be doing during the day. So that became stressful, and I put my entire being into my job. And any work that I do, you know, good and decent order. It's
Mhm.
just a learning progress. And I didn't have the support that I needed. I still don't actually right now, but I get feedback from my instructional coach, which is great. And I have other teachers who are helping me. But that's us in the schools trying to support each other, build each other up, to keep each other there. But teachers in general need a lot more support
Mhm. That's true. That's
overall.
true. When my daughter actually um, was in person schooling at the charter school that she's going to before we decided to homeschool, that was very important. Like they really encouraged um, the teachers and parents have like a really close relationship, and like there was a mandatory volunteering that you had to do each school year. But you know me, I was up in the class. I was on
Mhm.
all the field trips, doing all the stuff. But yeah, I really think teachers definitely need support. Like it's not just about the student and the parent. It's like a little community. Like parents definitely should be more active in their children's education and supporting the teachers and stuff like that.
Yes.
Why did you become an educator?
I love seeing minds grow. I love seeing a person learn, but it's even special when a child is learning or a teenager is learning and you have some input in that.
Mhm.
That makes me happy. So when it started with my niece who was born in 2006, um, I was with her mom teaching her how to read before she entered kindergarten, and just watching her mind blossom just
Mhm.
really kind of narrowed it down for me. And I never could let that part go. So it's addictive just to learn how the children learn and then be creative with it as well. That's what I enjoy. Then you build these relationships with children. Okay. I'm gonna be honest. The other part of why I'm in education is because I can tolerate a 4-year-old behaving like a 4-year-old. I can even
Right.
tolerate a 12-year-old behaving like a 12-year-old or a 17-year-old behaving like a 17-year-old. But what I cannot tolerate is a 40-year-old behaving like a 12-year-old or a 4-year-old.
Period.
So I have to keep that in mind as well when you're out in public with other people.
Yes.
And you have to, if I have to spend 8 hours with you all day, I'm going to need you to cooperate and behave in such a manner that is pleasing.
That's right. We need you to get some act right, okay?
Yes. So that's
I
another reason.
agree. Yeah, I agree. Like that's something I have worked on the past few years, allowing, and look, I'm still working on it now, allowing kids to act their age. You know,
Mm-hmm.
my 6-year-old, he's the size of a 10-year-old. And they, forget like when he's playing with other kids or he's playing with my daughter's friends because she's 9, they're like, hello. And it's like, he's only 6. And so
Right.
I forget too because he's so big. And oh, my husband's in here and he said, kids mature way too fast these days.
Yeah,
Oh,
they do.
yeah,
They
they
do.
do.
I mean,
And
I teach high school, but every once in a while, I'm going to play backyardigans for my kids. I'm going to play Jack Hartman. We're going to
oh,
do some
yeah.
kind of fun YouTube video together. We have dance offs because I realize, and it's taken a toll on me emotionally. Like they have different backgrounds than what we have. And
Yeah.
yes, your husband is right. They do grow up too fast. And most of the time, it's not by choice
Mm-mm.
because they have been exposed to some things without their agreement.
Yes, yes. You're
So,
absolutely right. And I think a lot of adults too, they want them to grow up super fast. And like before you even get a chance, like this platform example, for example, they before you even get a chance to even talk to them because they're the tender age of whatever they are, they're already being exposed to stuff. You're like, well, dang.
I know. And it's so hard because you have the internet, you have phones, media is in commercials,
Mm,
in stores, on billboards, everywhere, their best friend
Mm-hmm.
who may sit with them on a carpet during, at kindergarten,
Mm-hmm.
may have been exposed to some stuff. A lot of stuff is
Yeah.
permeated that way.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to protect them, and you want to be the one to expose them to certain stuff when you think they are ready for it. But it's difficult
Yeah.
in this modern time. So
You gotta stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Like, whew,
yes.
Lord. It just thinking about it right now, Shantae got me stressed.
Oh, I
Just
know.
like
I totally
let
understand.
let the babies be babies,
Right. Yes. Let them laugh.
okay? What is your favorite thing about being an educator?
I have been a para for kindergarten through high school, and an educator. Building the relationships with the students is my favorite part. I get to learn from them and at the same time teach them what I know. Again, watching their minds grow is really important, but also watching their hearts grow. Their character growth. Some may go from being so in a huddle, a bubble,
Hmm.
and they just blossom and communicate more effectively with each other, or have these very precise conversations with each other that you wouldn't know by first meeting them that was in their minds. And they tend to shock you. I'm shocked every day by
Yeah,
my students, by the conversations we have, by the conversations that they bring into the classroom,
yeah,
and we find this grandiose enlightenment that just covers our room. So that's what I enjoy, having
that,
those moments, you know,
that's
being
so
able to laugh
beautiful.
together and cry together. Yeah.
Hmm. That is so beautiful. And when you have great teachers, that relationship like lasts forever, because you gave them a chance, because you educated them, you had those beautiful experiences. I know I've carried a lot of my teacher relationships my whole life. So, girl, you just,
I know. I still have, they find me on Instagram.
I
My
love
job
that.
doesn't know I have an Instagram, but somehow my former students have found me.
Baby, these new kids, they is investigators, okay?
Like, hey, there you are. I'm like,
Yeah, they find you out real quick.
yes,
It's like,
Snapchat. Yeah, they got me there too.
oh, what is your favorite learning style?
Okay, so I am a very creative person. Even though we have to have standards where we have to write daily, yes, that is very important because our kids need to learn how to write. I like project-based learning, PBL. So anything to do with projects, it does take resources um, and money, but projects, tactile learning, hands-on, that's the best way because they can apply the knowledge that they have. Visual learning is great as well. You have a lot of students, they need that color, that
Mm-hmm.
stimulation through the eyes in order to
Mm-hmm.
know what you're talking about. And you have the audio where they
Yes.
hear your voice. So sometimes you may think that a child is not listening. I guarantee you, if you pick a topic that they are interested in and you have the knowledge behind it, their ears perk up very easily.
Mm-hmm.
But me, I am a tactile. I love teaching hands-on. Get
Yeah.
them involved. Apply the knowledge that you learn. How are we doing this?
Yes. I think that's my 6-year-old. He learns more hands-on and visual and stuff. Yes, I could take your Here, lift your arms up. Okay. Thank you.
Oh,
You should have seen the way they just busted up in here. Um,
so precious.
okay, what is a IEP?
Okay, so an IEP is an individualized education program. All right, so that's basically a written document, a written legal document to explain if your child has an IEP. These are the goals listed for them. This is what we're planning on doing in the classroom. We, if they need speech, a speech pathologist, um, an extra aid, extra help, hearing aids if they're deaf. It's very specific to that student.
Hmm.
So it's a legalized document for the child based off of what they need the most to help them grow and accelerate in the classroom.
Uh, do all students get IEPs, or is it just certain students?
Okay, so it's specific students who receive an IEP. Um, because of how much work it takes to test them to get it, to receive the IEP, it technically is supposed to take up to 6 weeks of documentation to
Hmm.
receive the IEP to let the parents know, but the parents have to sign up for it. Well, that's going back and forth between the parent, the teacher, and the intervention specialist. Mostly the intervention specialist takes over that portion and lets the teacher know, what the goals are. But with the teacher's documentation, they have to give information as well. So it's a team building effort to provide the information for the child as well. So not every student receives an IEP. However, there are a lot of students who need it, but we don't have that many resources in the classroom. And it's hard for one teacher, if they have over 20 students, to provide that sort of service by themselves.
Okay, I never really understood the breakdown of that, so thank you for breaking that down.
You're welcome.
And okay, what advice do you have for parents trying to figure out which schooling option to go for?
Okay. Without, I'm going to give you my unsolicited advice first.
Okay.
If you have a young, if you have a young child, I would start with Montessori learning because that is more project-based learning. And I do believe you should really, really do your homework on the schools, do your homework on the teachers. Teachers fly in and out of schools all the time. So if you like
Hmm.
a teacher and you want to send your child to a school for a specific teacher, make sure they're there
Hmm. Yeah.
upon enrollment. Otherwise, you may feel slighted. Um, Build a team, like especially if you are. It's good to have a community
Yeah.
for your child. I know a lot of parents are doing this by themselves, or it's just two parents and nobody else, and that can be very difficult. So build a team, find people that you relate to, that you have the same, morals, the same, not necessarily beliefs, but as far as education go, like what works for your family. Have
Hmm.
that same alignment, and that would definitely help.
Yeah, that's right. Because I mean, I'm not gonna lie, we don't have a huge support system. It's just me, my husband, and we're like, hey, we're doing this. He's like, okay, I support you. But nobody is like, oh, you guys need any help, or here's this book, or whatever. It's like solely on us. And I know that's like what it is when you decide to homeschool your child. But I feel like when a lot of people send their children to school, they're like, it's the teacher's problem, it's the school's problem. Like, I just help them with their homework, you know?
We,
you
we
know?
rarely get that.
Oh,
Okay.
really?
Oh no, I'm being honest because some parents don't even show up for parent teacher conferences.
Oh,
And I'm talking
mm,
about from kindergarten to high school. I know high school
yeah.
they're almost adults, but they don't need parents. Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. Yes,
They do.
yes.
I need you to show up so we can break
Yes.
this down. Team
Yeah.
effort. Don't
Yes.
listen. My whole motto as a teacher, before I even became a teacher, when my niece was born, um, is a child educated only at school is an uneducated child. Is
Mm,
you have to teach from home. You have
period.
to teach from home.
Yeah. Yeah.
It starts in the home. And you can
Hmm.
tell.
Yeah. You can. You can definitely tell uh the formative years what parents be doing, like
Right.
my
Yes.
kids definitely play with tech. Sometimes, some days it's a little too much, but I feel like my husband and I do a pretty good job of like doing things with them, showing
Mm-hmm.
them things. I know you and I talked about it. I want my kids to know how to do things.
Yes.
Like I use this example all the time. I didn't move out till I was 25. And when I moved out, I didn't know how to freaking clean a house. Like, yeah, I straightened up here and there and everything, but I didn't know what it actually, the mechanics of cleaning. Like, there's a lot.
Yes.
And so it's like, I remember my mom always saying to me certain things growing up. Well, didn't you learn that in school? Didn't you learn that in school? Didn't you learn that in school? No, no, I did not. And listen, they weren't out here teaching that. That was a parent thing. Okay.
That is
So,
correct.
peace to everybody in the chat. Hello, self love to soulmate. What's up, Divine House of Alchemy? Thank you guys for joining us. Um, let's see. Okay, also, what are your thoughts on homeschooling as an educator?
Okay, so I'm gonna be.
You better come on with it.
It has its pros and cons. Okay, it does have its pros and cons. Again, build a team.
Mm-hmm.
Build a team when it comes to homeschooling because you don't want to do it by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that, find somebody who's in the science field, find somebody who's in the math field, in the English field, in the social studies field. You can do your own studies, but with technology evolving all the time, you want to stay up to date. So the thing about teachers, most of us receive training with technology, and that is great to help with the students who are learning technology, and technically the students are faster than the teachers.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
and the parents.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I mean, it's still important to have these conversations with each other, build a team, find a collective of people who you can align with to help you build that homeschooling. I do agree with homeschooling. Um, I agree with homeschool preschool as well, and
Yeah.
I'm emphasizing that. Okay, without saying don't send your child to preschool, I'm emphasizing start at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can socialize. You can find other events. So with my younger niece, she's 4 years old now and stays out of town. But
Mm-hmm.
I take it upon myself to make sure I'm in contact with her. She has read over 500 sight words. She knows how to read and comprehend. Okay.
Wow.
I'm team building with my sister. She has given me certain authorities with her child's education. So I know the state testings, what's coming up, what is required. I have researched that specific state and the state that I'm
Mm-hmm.
in for her learning. And so my sister, she's my left brain, I'm the right brain. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I tell her, I tell her, okay, once your daughter hits trigonometry, that's you.
I know that's right.
Because she is going to be hitting that around third grade. Okay.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
we have started multiplication. She's 4 years old. Um, and
Wow.
again, it's with the Montessori approach though. So it's
Mm-hmm.
hands on. She's a hands on learner and she's very sharp with it. Build your team. Find that friend that you can rely on to help you with getting resources. Online resources are great. If you have a computer, use it to get the information that you need for your child at the age, whether they're behind grade level or at grade level or even above grade level. I had to
Mm-hmm.
stop giving my niece sight words because she went through all of them. So we are reading books. We've been reading books since she was little, smaller. Um, but she's we're starting chapter books. But the
Yes.
attention span is like still a 4-year-old. And
Yeah.
so we can only do it a page a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Barely that.
That's my son. He's like, mm-mm, I don't want to read
I'm
this. I'm
like,
bored.
and I have to remind myself, okay, she's just 4.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I know what she's capable of, she still is 4. So getting her mind to just focus um, longer than 5 minutes is difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like when they're more advanced, you want to keep pushing them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll get got more stuff, but you're right. Their attention span is like Dory, Finding Dory.
No, I'm the same way. I mean, my
Need you to
baby,
focus. What was that?
yes.
I'm the
So,
same way too.
so yeah, I do agree with homeschool. You just build your team, know the state registration laws, etc.
Mm-hmm.
To do so.
Mm-hmm.
Do homeschool. I agree with hands-on. Tactile learning is so important that your kids are in the kitchen with you while you're cooking, using measuring cups, learning how to read an analog clock over a digital one. Knowing what 3:30 means.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Some don't. And you think that they get it, but no.
Mm-hmm.
Today I had to actually sub for another teacher's class, and the students thought that Washington, D.C. was in the state of Washington. And
Mm.
so I had to, tell them it's not.
Right. Right.
Locations on the map can be helpful. Have a
Mm-hmm.
map at your house.
Right. Because you never know when you're gonna need it. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's interesting that you brought up both those things because today my daughter's lesson was doing the half pass and a quarter pass on the clock. And
Mm-hmm.
she's like, Mom, what is this? And I had to like remember, oh yeah, yeah. And then we worked it out. And then we had a conversation the other day, my husband and her and I, and we were talking about the state, a country, and she had it backwards. She knew, but she had it backwards. And she was like, just cut me a break. Just like, okay, I'm just making sure because it was making me feel like, which I'm trying not to internalize everything, that I wasn't teaching her good enough. You know what I mean? Because it's like she can't remember she got it mixed up, but she just got it mixed up. Sometimes children just get stuff mixed up. I'm an adult, I still get stuff mixed up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let me give myself some grace. Let me give her some grace. As long as you know the roundabout, we doing all right. We doing all right.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's crazy. Like, to think that these, fundamental things in the beginning, like later on in high school, like people are still struggling with that. So you're right. We need the communities to support the babies.
Yeah. And then also team building. Like, you have multiple children, which is great. So they know how to team build, have fun with games. Some people think that it's difficult to homeschool just one child. You can find other parents with kids to team build as well, to
Mhm.
learn how to swim, play soccer, play different games, and learn that way as well. You can literally use a kickball field to learn quadrilaterals. That's just an
Mhm.
example.
That's a
Um,
good idea.
you get those angles. Yes. Whole
Mhm.
body teaching, tactile learning is really important and effective, especially for younger kids. It's great for older kids because they still want their recess. They still have to remain active as well. So
Hmm.
get it going.
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna have to start doing that. I mean, I played sports growing up. I have the kids in sports and stuff, but I want to start implementing more of that. So thank you for that. We got a couple questions right here. First question is from Self Love to Soulmate. What is the Montessori approach and where can I find resources?
Okay, so Montessori approach is more hands-on. That's the tactile. So whole body teaching, that's where Montessori covers. So instead of just paper to pen writing all the time, if your child, for example, is a 5-year-old, 4-year-old learning how to write, you would get sand on a tray and trace your letters with your finger. You will use bigger objects to execute different assignments. So it's whole body learning. You will use string, rope. You can do it at home as well. You can also research online. Your state probably has a Montessori a Montessori school
Mhm.
for you. So definitely get into that. You can research project-based learning, research whole body teaching, etc. because that's what you want to do with your kids to get the information to apply um, more effectively.
Mhm.
Start there.
It's like muscle memory too. The more you
Yes,
use your
absolutely.
body. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Self Love Soulmate Stephanie J also asked, how can I get my daughter to read faster and comprehend what she's reading?
Okay, let me sit up. So it depends on the level of your daughter. Still have grace with her. Practice. I don't know what grade level is your daughter. I'm sorry if you
I think
know
she's
that.
in third grade. Third grade.
Third grade? Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the tests are definitely strategic when it comes to third grade because that's where they start to do the whole, I hate to say this, the prison the pipeline era.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so reading faster, focus on just one paragraph. So if you have a folder, this is what I had to do with my niece because she was 2 years behind. She was on schedule, but she could not comprehend what she was reading. So my older niece, who is now 17, she couldn't comprehend what she was reading when she was in kindergarten, but she could read the words very quickly, right? So practice vernacular, building her vernacular first. She will read faster later. Build the
Mm-hmm.
vernacular. You choose 5 words per week to work with her individually. That will help her. Once she understands the vernacular, the vocabulary terms, that will help her build upon the structure of learning. Okay. Also, you have to give examples. So, using context clues is really, really important. And that's basically finding the definition of a word within a sentence. My students have struggled with this several times, okay? So when you use context clues in a sentence, it will help them understand how to decode what is going on in the sentence. So I hope that helps you a little bit to break it down.
Yeah, she said, yes, this is great information.
Thanks.
Hey, I'm gonna have to go back and watch this and take my notes. Okay, because that right there, that was some gems. You was dropping gems. So thank you for that.
You're
Um,
welcome.
okay, what are some different types of homeschooling options that you suggest?
Homeschooling options, definitely, again, check with your state on what the laws are, what you need to do, because you still have to do certain tests to get your kids through. There are some homeschools that don't require, you can wiggle your way out. I'm not going to say any more past that part. Research that.
Yes. Yes.
Research that. Because there's a lot of paperwork that you can do to do homeschooling. Okay. But if you go to the state, look up the laws for that state, for your hometown. Your city may be slightly different from what the overall state is, but it's pretty much the same thing when you connect it. So look up your state. So yourstate.edu. Look up the requirements for education.
Mhm.
So yourstate.edu, the requirements for education, the curriculum, and go
Mhm.
from there. And that will help you lesson plan what to teach your child. And your child may, if you're homeschooling, they're going to learn more from you.
Mhm.
Okay.
I can't remember the website. It's like Hilsa. I'll leave it in the description box because that's where I went to find out the requirements. They have all the requirements for each state. Like Utah has zero requirements. You basically just send a paper into your the school board and that's
Yes.
it. And you just keep it pushing. But I know
Right.
there's some states you got to fill out a lot of stuff, show them your
Mhm.
lesson plan and everything. So you're absolutely right. Find that out. But I will put that in the description box, you guys. Um, okay, what has it been like being an educator since 2020?
Well, been, it's difficult, but at the same time, it's been team building with my coworkers, with the students. It's difficult because, especially for the students who are behind and have been behind before 2020, where the thing happened. I'm not going to say
Yeah,
when that
yeah.
happened, um, it pushed a lot of kids back. I'll say that.
Yes.
And so their comprehension skills are not up to date. And so
Mhm.
now you're catching up 4 grades, 6 grades, sometimes it's 8 grades, depending
Mhm.
on their age. All right.
Mhm.
And so everyone knows I do work at a credit recovery school, a dropout recovery school. So we get some students who are not on par with
Mhm.
the curriculum, but it's
Mhm.
okay. You know, they are still trying and they have gone through a whole lot of life lessons. A lot of life has happened to them before they could experience life.
Yes.
So that part has been difficult, but at the same time, I've been able to be their sounding board, their mother figure, that bonus mom. I actually got called
Yeah.
mom the other day, but by my 16-year-old
Oh.
boys. And so, it's difficult because you see the lack that they have, and then if they don't have the
Mhm.
support at home, it's like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so hard. And I remember having that experience because my daughter, when she did go to a charter school, she went through kindergarten and then the thing happened
Mm-hmm.
and it was online. And then we opted to just keep her home for first grade and it was all distance learning. And baby, when I tell you, well, I don't have to tell you because you already know because you lived it as well. It was a struggle. The teachers were struggling, the parents were struggling. I felt very thankful and fortunate. And I know not everybody's in this situation because I mean, I was at home anyway. I was already doing stuff. And I could help her with her stuff, but it was all over the place.
Yeah.
And they literally it felt like when you were bringing it to their attention, no, you just don't understand. You don't understand. You don't understand. The problem's you. And
Right.
so I was like, well, we did this for a whole year. I could do this myself. Like, I appreciate, don't get me wrong, I appreciate everything that teachers do because we have no idea. And thank you for shedding light on it, just even a teensy weensy niggle. But I'm just like, I know I can do this. But that it was a roller coaster ride. And I still think some people are still trying to get off that roller coaster ride when it comes to the education. And like you said, catching up, and they're still behind because
Yeah.
some parents that I speak to, they're just like, yeah, my kid is struggling right now. They're struggling. We're trying to catch up. I'm working with the teachers. I'm trying to do all the extra stuff. So it's so hard. It's
It
so.
is. Yes, it is to differentiate between the. Sometimes the gap is
Mhm.
this big. You know, when you have a student who tested preschool level reading, that is difficult
Mhm.
because you have to teach them sight words and basic comprehension skills, while another student is ready for MLA citations and rhetorical devices. So that can be overwhelming.
Mhm.
That can be overwhelming. But I really do appreciate the parents who show up for their kids. And those are the ones who are mostly hard on themselves. I've noticed that too. Oh my gosh. The parents who are
Woo.
the most involved in their child's life, doing everything they possibly can, having parent teacher conference, showing up for parent teacher conferences, actually knowing the child's teacher's name and
Mhm.
their faces,
Mhm.
knowing the environment of the school, knowing what your child needs at the school is really, it does wonders for
Mhm.
a teacher. Like I text some of my parents, they text me, and
Mhm.
we have good relationships. We have good a team. That's another team. Having that
Yeah.
relationship with that teacher of your child. So even if you
Mhm.
homeschool, you can find tutors and
Yeah.
have those relationships as well. And your tutors
Mhm.
can be teachers. I still tutor.
Yeah.
I still tutor some former students because I have relationships with their parents. So
Mhm.
yes.
I love that. Tutor Tay. You better go ahead.
So just to keep
Tutoring
up
these
to
babies.
date. Up to date.
Yeah. You have to. You have to. I'm gonna definitely like you got my cogs are turning. Like every time you say something, I'm just like boom, 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 boom. Yes. Like I'm here for this. Um, my husband did say I was thinking the same thing, Stephanie. This podcast is essential for anyone who has kids in school. Thank you for this info.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Like, I'm telling you, like, I'm just like, oh, shoot, I gotta rewatch this. Like, ow, I gotta get it together.
Like I love my students. I am going to say I am totally for homeschooling. Just do your work
Hmm.
in order to do it. But
Right.
I didn't send my younger, well, my sister didn't send her to daycare. I was her preschool teacher.
Oh, yes. Read it out for.
Like
I can
I
see
went,
why.
I'm like, okay, we have to cover this, this, and this. Like I know she's only
Yes.
2, but
Yes. I
so I've been
love
on
that.
her. I've been on
I
her
love
since birth.
that. I love that. I love that. Um, let's see. How can parents advocate for their children's education?
So at school,
Yeah.
okay, we're gonna start with at school.
Yeah.
So they can advocate for their children's education by, again, knowing their teachers, showing up for parent teacher conferences. If they have after school programs, support their child because, oh my gosh, that is so, so important. I
Hmm.
didn't realize and appreciate my mom as much as I do now until I became that educator and noticed how some parents didn't show up.
Mm.
I didn't even know the names.
Yeah.
So that's when I was starting with as a para, and I would ask the teachers, well, where are their parents?
Hmm.
Oh, they're not going to come. We don't even know who they are.
Wow, that's
Like they
crazy
would
to
sign
me.
up through the school, but they never met the. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And
Hmm.
so my mom was a single mother with 3 girls who had 3 different after school programs,
Hmm.
projects, who helped with homework, full-time job, everything. And so it's important because I remember that. I still reflect on that. And so
Hmm.
sometimes I have those moments where I'm calling her like and crying like, I remember you did this for me, and I'm trying to do the best for this student because their parent isn't there to
Hmm.
support them. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure the ones who are asking that question of how to support your child in school are probably doing the most. I'm going to be honest.
I thank you for saying that because I don't think parents understand that just like being in the home with your child, telling them to do this, telling them to do that, you know, it's not the same as actually parenting your child, if that makes
Right.
any sense.
Having
Like,
conversations
yeah,
is really important. Having conversations, according to their age, and trust me, they probably know more than you think they know. Um,
baby.
it's a lot of stuff that has been confessed to me by some students that their parents didn't know. I don't want to go too off topic. Keep in mind,
Yeah.
I teach high schoolers, and they, I get asked some questions like, Mrs. Faust, how do
Hmm.
you get rid of da 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 da? And I'm like, wait, you should, talk to this
Hmm.
specific doctor
Yes.
about that. And they didn't know about, the certain thing that women get every year.
Mhm. Oh,
They
yes.
didn't know about that, but,
Hmm.
still active with people. I'm like, you should know that. Oh, but we're not
Hmm.
supposed to get that until we're 21. I'm like, no.
Mm-mm.
If you're with other people, we're supposed to be happy. But the reason why they haven't gotten it is because the parent didn't know that
Oh,
they're. Again,
yes.
I'm sorry. I'm speaking vaguely to keep it innocent.
Yes. I appreciate you for that because that's another reason like parents because I'm speaking mostly to women because I'm a mother. That's the only thing I know right now. But we have to be conscious and heal ourselves and know that the things we know, our kids know. And it's our responsibility to do it better than the generation before because of that lack of knowledge and communication
Yes.
or embarrassment or shame behind all of the things. We have to do better, like, period, on all levels. We have to.
Yeah,
And
and
in the age that we live in, there's no excuse anymore.
right. And the thing is, be honest with your child
Hmm.
because just like when you ask them a rhetorical question,
Hmm.
because you already know the answer, most likely if they're inquiring about a certain topic, they're inquiring because they're hoping that you will supply some kind of feedback for them.
Yes, yes, that's
Okay.
exactly what my daughter does. And
They
I'd be
they
like, well, what do
know.
you know? What do you know? What do you
So
think it is?
at some point, that level of embarrassment, if they're asking, they know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Yep.
best that you are honest with them up front
Yeah.
so they don't have a negative exposure to certain topics, and then all hell breaks loose. So if
Yes.
they're asking, okay, this is how you know protect yourself from in these situations. Have those
Right.
conversations.
All right.
Okay.
We got Spiritual Marcus in the building. He says, hey
Hi.
family.
Hey, Marcus.
Um, yes, we come on, baby. We gotta do better, parents. We gotta do better. Um, what do you think education will look like 5 years from now?
Oh, mm, mm, mm. So there has been this whole growth of homeschooling, which is
Mhm.
great. Education is more digital, but we still need that hands-on tactile approach.
Yeah.
And as we get more into homeschooling, a lot of parents are realizing this as well. Like, okay, let me teach my child how to garden. That's the science. You can use gardening for pretty much anything. Write down the details. That's writing, reading a
Mhm.
manual on how to garden, listening to Ron Finley, who I love,
Mhm.
brilliant gardener. Um, he's on Masterclass, by the way.
Ooh, let me write this down. Ron Finley. Somebody put in the chat. Put in the chat.
Because my thumb is not green.
Oh, right. Mine's kind
It's
of
not.
beige.
But using, just the simple tools, gardening, um, to teach your child about science,
Mm.
soil, the elements of soil, the elements of sun, air, water, etc. Writing down a manual, knowing how to read a manual. Get your
Mm-hmm.
child to, again, my sister is the engineer. So one of the things that we worked on with our oldest niece is mechanics.
Mm.
Buy those toys with the screwdrivers. They have I promise Amazon be having a whole lot of stuff
They
that you
sure
can
do.
hands on. It's hands on. Knowing how to tie your shoe is just the basics of it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Knowing how to screw lefty loosey, righty tighty is really important. I'm talking about younger children, and then grow from there.
Yes. Yes. Last year, my husband and my son put a little, my mom gifted him like a little engine. It was
Mhm.
like one of those discovery things. They put that together. I mean, my husband did most of it, but he was a little like, okay, 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 Dad, I see it, I see it. And then he's like, I'm out. But I love that, like finding those things. And my friend Stephanie, that's here on here, Self Love to Soulmate, she does a lot of those kind of things. And I feel like they carry those things over into adulthood. Like, okay, even though this was a toy, I remember putting this engine together. I know how this works, and that was the name of this thing, or whatever. It really just gets them like, okay, the muscle memory thing again. Like, oh, I've seen this before. I
Yes.
can do this. I can do this. Um, let's see, we got some more comments.
So
Marcus said, love seeing us coming together like this. Yes. Yes, Marcus, you already know. And Goddess Sage, Divine House of Alchemy said, I appreciate my mom for from first grade to sixth grade. She always participated in my schooling. Everyone knew her and she was the lunch lady. Aw, she created a space where kids could come and get assistance. I love that. And then she also said with schoolwork, food, etc., she made sure to be heavily involved. Gratitude for her.
yeah,
Yes. And
yes, absolutely.
happy heavenly birthday to your mama.
Oh
I
wow.
I Yes, I truly like if my kids were still going to school, I would be participating like that because
Snacks.
we all remember that. Yes, snacks. The
Snacks are
snacks,
so
and we
important.
were talking about school supplies, right?
Oh my gosh. Because, yes, we have a list in the beginning of the school year of school supplies, but it's great if you can supply it for second semester and fourth quarter
Hmm.
as well. That'll be great. Teachers love expo markers and even sandwich bags. Those are great organizers. Eh, go to the Dollar Tree, get some sandwich bags and sticky
Yes.
notes. That would help. Some journals. Make sure your child has a journal to write in, so the teacher doesn't have to come out of pocket or the school doesn't have to. And if possible, snacks.
Mm-hmm.
My students are asking me for food every day,
Mm-hmm.
every single day. They are hungry,
Mm-hmm.
especially at the end of the hour, at the last hour. They are hungry. So if you have snacks like little granola bars, little chips, whatever you can get for a classroom, donate some snacks. That would be phenomenal.
Hey, and if you guys have Costco gift cards, Sam's Club, what's the other place? BJ's, maybe the grocery store, slide them in the teacher's box too.
Right? Repeat me.
Amazon. Okay, just
Yeah.
1 second, okay? All right. Last question. What does education mean to you?
Okay. Education means to me, it's more than just the curriculum that the state requires teachers to teach their students, because at the end of the day, we're more than just the teachers. We're the mentors. We're the parent for 8 hours. We have done so much within our own being to provide resources for the students who may not have it. So,
Mm-hmm.
doctors, we
Yeah.
judging as well.
Mm-hmm.
Different scenarios, but education, you are teaching them how to be not only mindfully educated, but socially educated. How do you interact with each other? With cell phones and digital media, some kids only have that interaction online.
Mm-hmm.
I have to teach my kids, no, you're going to look me in my eye and address me face to face. Don't be shy. We're going to talk together. Okay. I want your ideas to come out of your mouth so everybody
Mm-hmm.
else can hear and we can discuss it. So that's educating, having these conversations with each other. Emotional intelligence is so important. We expect kids to act a certain way, but if they haven't had that whole rearing with by their parents, they're not going to behave how you expect them to behave. So you
Mm-hmm.
it's a training as well there in that process. So education, social emotional intelligence is really important. Learning about yourself outside of school is important. So nurturing your habits, your creative habits. So if you're an artist, a musician, if you do sports, writing, etc., nurturing those gifts that a child has is so important. It was my joy to learn each one of my students because I can reward them according to their gifts. If they are an artist, and I have several in my school, in my classrooms, who are artists, so I give them little sketchbooks, canvases, and stuff like that. You know, if they want to find a job, I help them link up with each other. So that helps as well. Education goes beyond the classroom. I want to know what they are interested in, and that has helped me build that relationship. Building relationships is another thing that is imperative to have in order for education to even work.
Yes.
So yeah.
I love that. That is true. Like communication, relationships, they go a long way.
And I do want to add, culturally is important. Um, so I have a more Black dominated culture, race, ethnic group for students, right? And so I was trying to figure out why were some of them behind. I had to link them culturally
Mm-hmm.
to the education that is required of them.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an example, idioms.
Mm-hmm.
I had to teach them, hey, you guys use idioms all the time. Idioms are so important. So we learn AAVE, African American Vernacular English. This is so
Mm-hmm.
important. Learning about your own syntax, your own diction is so important. We have our own language within ourselves. All
Mm-hmm.
right.
Yes.
So whenever, I- and this was a fun lesson for them because they use it all the time. We use it all the time. So if I
Mhm.
ever say, I'm not one of your little friends, they know. They know what that means. Like, try me, which is another
Yes.
idiom for it is very prudent for you to not antagonize your mother any further. So I need you to stop. Okay.
Yeah. And if you grew
So,
up in any melanated household, you already know. Don't.
yes, absolutely. So culturally, I had to bridge that gap for specific students because they needed it. And let's be honest, not every curriculum is geared towards our babies.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Oh, I always wondered, like, what it would have been like to go to school with more kids that look like me. Because, I'm from Utah. Everybody looks like my husband. And it's just like, sometimes you need the spice of life. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I am so thankful and grateful that you are doing what you are doing, that you decided to educate these beautiful children, these beautiful melanated children. And I just appreciate everything that you are doing. Thank you for everything that you tell me and pour into the things I'm trying to work on.
Yeah.
Because, baby, it's rough
Oh,
too.
I know. It is.
So, yes, parents,
Yeah. Shout
whoever's
out to
watching
them.
this, make sure you help your teachers, support your teachers so they can support you and your children.
Yes. Please do. And shout out to all the parents who knows their teachers. Their
Oh,
child
yeah.
educator. If you know your child educator, you're doing more than what a lot of parents are not doing. So good job. And if you're involved,
Yes.
thank you so much for being involved.
Real parents stand up, okay? Real teachers
Please.
stand up. One more
Yes.
comment we've got. It definitely takes a village when it comes to children. I understand what type elders meant when they oop, it moved. When they
Used
used
to
to
say that.
say that.
Yeah.
Yes. And then Marcus says everyone needs a teacher like legacy facts. Yes.
I love y'all.
We love you. We've learned so much from you on all types of levels, baby.
Yes.
So, man, wait till they get really ready for the other lessons.
I know the other legacy. Uh-huh. Right now, you're getting Mrs. Files.
I love it. I appreciate you so much for coming and taking your time and spending it with us. I can't wait to have you back in the future.
I was so nervous. Thank you for having me.
And Goddess Sage said, Legacy, the magical fae, LOL.
You know, babe. You know. I already know. I
Thank you
love
to
you.
everybody that joined us today. I love you guys. I appreciate you. And we're going to see you in the next one. I will leave all the information below where you can find out the things we talked about today in the podcast. And yeah, thumbs us up so she come back. So she knows that we loved it and that we want more. We want more.
Thank you.
all all right, you guys.